Hey there, guys. Welcome back for another LG Tour preview show. This one we're going to be previewing is our final kind of playoff format of this season. It's our top 16 bracket. The fun one that we're looking forward to. Today I got Fetz on with me. He's going to go over all the matchups with me and everything like that. How's it going today, Fetz?
Oh, it's fucking wonderful, man. 15 minutes to midnight. We're gonna be discussing how this is all gonna go down, and we're gonna be talking about some juicy matchups today.
It's funny too because I also have a tea time tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. So
Brilliant.
golfing virtually, golf in real life, so it should be good. So without further ado, we're just going to be playing a fun round in the background, so don't pay attention to that too much. We're going to be going over the bracket and all the matchups and everything like that with the tournament. So we're also going to be going over a little bit of the scenarios and what's going to be going on as well. For example, like how the event's going to be played, what kind of matches we're playing and stuff like that. So I'll get into that first. We're going to be doing, obviously, as it was discussed in the announcement tab, we're doing a turn order based match play, right? So stroke play won't really fuck anybody over if they have a bad hole or anything like that, which will be nice. Like I said, we recommend that everybody gets at least one practice round in per round, we should say.
There we go. That's looking good.
And other than that, yeah, we'll get right into the matchup. So Fetz, I'm going to let you carry it off and lead us off here with your first matchup. Ironically, it's yourself. So what do you think about your matchup? Don't have to predict your own. But what do you think about your matchup?
Well, I think, it's a 1 seed against a 16 seed. So you kind of would look at that and immediately think, oh god, he's gonna like wipe the floor with them. But this isn't like a March Madness situation in college basketball where the 16 seed almost never beats a 1.
Just going right by the
This is match play. It's a whole different animal. Things can really go wrong if you underestimate your opponent in any capacity. And all of my match plays last season when I won season 1 were really close. So I think it's going to be a closer matchup than most anticipate. I've chosen Pebble Beach as the course that I'm going to be playing against Strider on. Same course I beat you in the finals in last season. It's a course I know very well.
Yeah, that's another thing too, is like with these higher seeds being able to pick the course and the slight advantage there. Look for people like, for example, like Fetz going after one of his go-to courses, which is Pebble Beach. I think you played that a couple times last year, like last season, didn't you? In the bracket?
I
I don't think it was
in
just me.
in the bracket I had 3 matches where I got to pick courses. 2 of them I picked Fiddler's Green because that was my most dominant tournament that season. And I picked Pebble for the finals, which Pebble was probably my best match play that I had that whole tournament, so I'm just running with it now.
Okay. So, like I said, I won't get you to predict your own matchup. I'm gonna step in here for your match. I think it's gonna be like Strider's been having some good tournaments lately. He's been putting up some nice scores and stuff like that. Guy can get hot. But I think the number one seed's the number one seeds for a reason. You've won, what is it, 6 tournaments this season? So I think I'll give you the edge there.
You want to do like
On to
a
the second.
score
What's right?
prediction, like a
I'm
2 up
gonna
with
say
how many
3 up.
holes left or whatever the hell.
I'm gonna say 3 up with 3 remaining. So, because I don't think he's gonna.
Oh, that one's going.
I think it'll be close, but I think it'll be a 3 up convincing win there. On to the second matchup. We're not going to go into specific like 2 versus 15 next. We're just going to kind of go roll down the list here. This one's an interesting one. We got Dispy AK versus Major Winners. So this one should be a very, very interesting one. I'll kick it off this one since you kicked off the last there, Fets. So Winners and Dispy, I believe both have not won a tournament this season. Not discrediting any of their rounds or any of their scores or anything like that. But it was a tough field, 100%. This one, for some reason, when we're getting to match play and stuff like that, we're doing turn order. We did this during the Masters, and Winters seemed to struggle a little bit when the pressure was more on him and he was kind of taken out of his mojo and
That's a solid birdie.
not able to play at the pace that he wants to play.
And after that one,
So I'm actually going to take Dispy AK here on a very slight one-up victory. Probably coming down to the last hole or two here. But yeah, I think Dispy AK can pull it out here if he continues to play the strong golf he's been playing. What do you
I
think, Feds?
think that Winters is whenever he's on it, he's one of the better golfers on the tour, 100%. But he can't stay on it 100% of the time. I think he has trouble with consistency, and I think that this BAK getting the better seed and having the advantage of choosing a course is going to play into a major winner's disadvantage.
yes.
Because the less comfortable he is on a course, the least likely he's going to do well. I think this is going to be a Dis BAK win, 2 up with 1 hole remaining.
Sitting at.
So I think we're both there on Dispy AK and both on you. Because I said I knew you didn't predict yourself, but I hope you win. Obviously, hope you think you're winning it. At least I should say.
Could come into play on this hole.
I'll do what I
Okay,
can.
on to the next one. What do you think about the next one there? Bring out that one first.
All right. So next up, we got 4 seed TBU Bossman taking on 13 seed Shuda. It's gonna be an interesting matchup because Shuda has not played badly really all season that he's played. Bossman's been one of the heavy hitting golfers since season 1.
This is bound for the green.
It's gonna be interesting to see what Bossman does with his advantage this year compared to last. But just off of the merit of Bossman being a seasoned veteran of the tour, I'm leaning toward him winning maybe 3 or 4 up.
Solid putt.
I'll go 3 up.
Ooh, that's a big one. That's a big one. I think Bossman 2, I believe, is our only 2-time major winner this season. So he already has a slight advantage going in as well as picking the course. But look out for Shooter. Like we've seen a few courses where he's had the lead after day 1 or day 2, after shooting like a 10, 11 under. So I could see him surprising some people. Again, I don't see him upsetting people in this tournament though. I'm gonna give Bossman a slight, again, 2-up win. Same thing. We'll see how they handle the pressure. And most definitely, I could see Shooter winning this one, but in my mind, I think this is Bossman's round to lose.
All right.
So I'm gonna go Bossman, and like I said, a slight 2-up with the 2 to play. Okay, and like I said, we're gonna be going through all the rounds. We might even jump into the quarters, semis, and finals here as well, and give some predictions. This is my first really interesting one here. We have Little J, the 5 seed, versus Tubby Turbo, the number 12 seed. So the thing about Tubby Turbo is he can be one of the one of the best golfers on tour if he's on. We've seen it by he was shot like a minus 15 or 16 just like a tournament or 2 ago. So it's something to look out for because I could see him doing that. But then you have Little J, who fucked around kind of in the last tournament shooting with Masters clubs on Dead Hand Pines. But that guy is, whenever I'm playing TGC tours or anything like that, you're always seeing that guy near the top of the leaderboards. So I think he's saving his best for last year. But in my first upset here, I'm actually going to take Tubby Turbo. Grinding it out with a 1-up victory here because lately he has been on fire. He's been shooting the ball well. Been putting up a lot of birdies, a lot of good scores. So I'm actually going to go Tubby Turbo here, 1-up on the last hole. Fets, what do you think?
So, I'm kind of with you on the boat of Little J being
So far, so good for this
one of the better golfers overall. You say he's on the TGC leaderboards all the time. He won the first tournament of the season on Pebble Beach via tiebreaker over us. I think that Tubby Turbo is one of the most underrated golfers on this tour, though, for a variety of different reasons. The amount of times that I've seen that name pop up at least near the top 10 this entire season, it's been a good couple times. And I think it's going to be a closer match than some people might think. I think this is going to come down to whoever makes the most mistakes, and I think Tubby's just gonna make one extra one, and it's gonna cost him. I think it's gonna be a one-up win for Little J.
I think that's our first one that we've kind of been a little bit indifferent on. Like I said, that one, it's just a testament to these golfers and like how close this matchup actually is outside of the rankings. I think it's definitely something
Sitting
to take a
two
look at.
under for the round.
Okay, Fetz, your turn for the next one here.
So bottom half of the bracket, we're starting with good old 2 seed Belial taking on 15 seed Golden Aces. I don't even need to think about this one. Golden Aces is gonna smoke you 9 up easy, no problem. No, but okay.
9
So
up.
obviously, you and me have probably been the two. Well, not probably about it. We've been the two most
Sweet. 26-footer.
dangerous golfers in every tournament. Basically, we were the only two guys on the entire tour really to have 4,000 points going into the playoff tourney,
Decent
which
little
is
putt
nuts. But
there. And that has kept you at 2 under par.
I just don't see Golden Aces showing up like he hopes he's going to. As long as you pick a course to your strengths and you aren't playing like complete trash on that day that you play, I think it's going to be a pretty handy. I'll go 3-up win for you.
Nice. I'll take it. Like, I'm not gonna make a prediction on my own matchup here, but one little side tidbit of information is that last season, season one, Aces was my round one matchup last season too. So it's actually a rematch. So I expect Aces to come out
Holy.
and dialed in, just like that shot right there, and put a good run out for my money because I don't see myself going easily into this second round here. I think it's going to be a tough matchup. I think it's another one that's underrated. Me and Aces have history. We're buddies, so
Very
he's
solid
beat me, I
round
beat
up there.
him.
Looking fantastic.
So I'm curious to see how that one goes as well. But no, I'm looking forward to it. On to the next matchup.
And,
I think this is the matchup of streaky golfers, if I've ever seen them. So we got MD Horton versus Hilly, 7 seed versus the 10 seed. Horton hasn't won a tournament. Hilly actually won a tournament this season, so look out for that. Like he could definitely do some damage there. But Horton is also one of the most streaky golfers I have also ever seen as well. So this one for me is curious.
for Eagle here
Like
on this par 4.
I'm buddies with both of them. I play the game with them both, so it's a fun matchup for me to watch. I think personally, in the second half of the season, Hilly was one of the top 6 golfers in the tour. So I actually have Hilly winning up about 3 up here. I think it'll be a good start, but I think Horton will hit a bad hole. Like he'll hit one of his streaky parts of bad luck, and I see Hilly taking advantage and actually moving on to the second round here. What do you think, Fetz?
Now, I see Hilly the same way that you see Horton, in that he could be quite streaky. Like, obviously, he didn't start off the season as well as he has the second half of the season, 100%. But I'm thinking, like, a lot of that, I don't know what changed in his game exactly, but there was something that clicked for him. If I'm thinking correctly, his accuracy factors has been one of the better ones on tour for the last few tournaments now. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
5-footer here.
but
Too scary.
I think that what holds back Hilly is sometimes just maybe maybe if his accuracy is really great and he's having a bit of a rough time on the course, like with his decision making on like what clubs to use and all that. I think that's gonna be what brings his downfall, because Horton's another one of those guys that's been a part of the game, so to speak, for a while. I think this is gonna be a really close matchup, but I think it's gonna be Horton. I'm gonna go with a 1-up again.
Nice. Yeah, that one's definitely another one that can go either way. So just like this BAK and winners and Jay and Tubby, like we have a few matchups, like I said, in this first round that can go either way. On to the next matchup, Fets. What is it?
All right, it's 3 seed CT versus 14 seed Stepping on Dubs. It's another one.
Can we
Stepping on
stop
Dubs.
and say this is, I think, the number one matchup in the first round?
It's a really good one considering Stepping on Dubs is a 14 seed, despite the fact that I've seen him at least contending for tournament wins a good bit of the season. And CT has been up there on the leaderboards from the very beginning of the season, so it's between two guys that on their better days could be really difficult to beat. It just depends on who shows up, and I think CT's going to use this advantage that he has with picking the course to, well, his advantage, and I think CT's going to take it 2-up.
Take it 2-up, hey? Yeah, see, this is another one. It's just like, I honestly struggle with this one because, yeah, CT just won Dead Hand Pines, which is the top 25 tournament, which is, you know, the hardest course that we have played all season. That's an amazing shot. But Dubs was right there. He finished top 5 in the Dead Hand Pines with a solid like 10 under, only a few back of CT. And the thing is, too, is Dubs is hot right now. He's streaky, and CT is coming off a big win. So I see this one coming down to 18. But I think CT, if he's focused, if he's in the zone, he's going to be the best golfer in this matchup. And I see CT taking this one up over Dubs. This one.
I feel like since we've said a couple of the matchups have been pretty close now, I think it's worth mentioning that there was one match that I know of last season that had to go to extra holes, and that was me against Crazy Legs in the semifinals. So if there is a tie through 18 holes, the game will not go to an extra hole. It'll just end the game. So if that ever happens in any of the matches, guys, you need to restart it from hole 1, and whoever wins a hole next wins it.
Exactly. Okay, speaking of that, Mr. Crazy Legs guy, we have him in the final matchup of the preliminary round. We have Crazy Legs versus our boy Stack City in this one. I think this one's interesting. Stack, he was performing earlier on in the season. I think he was doing very well. He's kind of fallen off a little bit lately. Didn't do too great in the top 25 tournament, and Legs had another top 6 finish. So I'm going to actually pick Lags pretty handily in this one. I think this is my most convincing one. I'm going to say Lags wins 4-up in this one. I don't think it's even close, this one. Unfortunately. I think Stack's great and all, but I think he's been on kind of a slump lately. I think Lags is going to take advantage of his advantage with picking the course, as well as just take advantage of his, I think, superior play.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a similar boat. Having played against Crazy Legs last season, I know how good he can be. I also know how lucky he could be. And whenever he's on point, he is a really tough guy to get past. I know I had a lot of trouble with him, and I think he could attest to that if he remembers anything about it. So I'm thinking Crazy Legs is going to win this 3-up.
Okay. So it's like that gives you kind of a general basis of our first round here. Obviously, we had a few picks that differed and stuff like that. Before we get into any more of this, what do you who do you think are some dark horses, sleepers that maybe like even if we picked him to lose, who's somebody that could surprise us round 1 or surprise us in the tourney and potentially win it all? What do you think, Fets?
Well, I'm gonna pick 2 guys right off the bat. I'm gonna immediately jump to Tubby Turbo and Hilly. Either of those guys on their best days, they're going to give the top guys out there some trouble. So if they get past their upset matchups, their disadvantaged matchups in round 1, then maybe they'll ride the momentum and start really making some noise as this final playoff bracket goes down.
Great putt, and that is for par.
Yeah, those are two good ones too. Like I said, we talk about streaky golfers. Calvi has been a little more consistent than Hilly, I think, minus the win that Hilly had that really jumped him up the rankings. But Hilly's one so streaky. So my two, the first one I'm going to talk about is stepping on the dubs or whatever the hell you say his gamer tag. Like I said, the guy's been really clutch lately. The second last tournament, even before the top 25 tourney, he had a great tournament as well. I think with another top 5 finish, which really skyrocketed him up the points. He was our biggest jumper. After the top 25 tournament was over, he was our biggest jumper in FedEx points, and he actually jumped 3 spots, going from 2 spots, jumping from number 16 down to number 14. So it really cemented his place that showing that he actually deserved to be there, which was nice to see. So I think that's gonna be my number one. If he can get past CT, I think he can ride that momentum huge, and kind of move on and show us. The next one is kind of tricky for me. I see a few guys on the list after looking at the first round, but I'm gonna go back to Crazy Legs here. Guy was a semifinalist last year. He's a 6th seed this year. Kind of one of those guys that's under the radar for tournaments. I don't think he's won one either. He's came top 5 quite a bit of times. I think that's guy. If he gets streaky in the playoffs, I say watch out to anybody facing him. I know for once I would not want to face him in a first round matchup, second round matchup. I wouldn't want to face him at all because that guy, he took, like I said, Ganefet's the season 1 champion last year in the semis to overtime. So that was pretty impressive last season. I think he can ride that out.
I had to scrap my way to overtime too. I was down.
And that's the thing.
He
Is like, with
really
the match
pushed
play
me to the limit.
Yeah, and with the match play and the turn order especially, and a little bit of pressure, and streaming and commentating that will be going on for matches, I think, honestly, at the end of the day, it's anybody's match. It doesn't matter, like, if you're myself or Fets and you've won 6 and 4 tournaments respectively. I don't think any of that matters now, because even we were talking about it before we went on the air here, is, I think both of our matchups are testy for the first round. Like, Ace is a guy that was competing for a major just a few weeks ago, and then Strider is a guy that led a tournament the other week in birdies. So it's two guys that just there, I think, can potentially take out top 2 seeds right off the get-go, and I think it's anybody's tournament, honestly. Yeah, I think the top seeds have slight advantage with picking a course and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's too big of an issue, especially when you're getting a practice round and kind of getting a feel for the course. But yeah, Fets, I think it's going to be crazy, man. What do you think?
I'm thinking it's always an exciting time whenever match play comes around, because everybody wants to, see how their skills get tested under massive pressure like this. Whenever they're probably talking to the person that they're playing against, watching their shots, taking their time in between their shots instead of just going with the flow of the game and going shot after shot like crazy. It's a lot of mind games on top of just being a normal game of golf. You gotta pay attention to what your opponent's been doing. You gotta adjust yourself based off of that.
And it's no more fucking around. Like, if you lose this next tournament, if you lose your next round, you're out. There's no more, okay, maybe I'll get in the next major. Maybe I'll get some more FedEx points. There ain't no more FedEx points to be given out. It's top 16. It's March Madness. It's single elimination. You lose, you're out. So there's definitely a lot of pressure. Last season, season 1, when me and Fets were in the finals, we were streaming it. And that we had Ability and somebody else doing commentary. We had over 50 viewers of all the golfers through the society watching our final. And I was winning that match. Fets was winning that match. Fets ended up winning the match. But it was back and forth, and it's crazy golf. So I hope you guys are looking forward to it. I know we are. I think I can speak for Fets on that point. Is there any final remarks, Fets, before we end this?
Good luck to everybody in your matches. Make sure you play that practice round before you get going, so you guys know what you're up against, and enjoy yourselves, okay? Don't take it too seriously. It is a tournament, Like, it is a match play thing at the end, but at the end of the day, we're all golfing, we're having fun, we're probably drinking and smoking a little bit, you know. So, just vibe with each other, have a good time, you know? That's it from me.
Absolutely. Like I said, boys, I look forward to it. I know I'm having my match within the next 2 days here of the first round.
I'll be
Once you
playing
guys' rounds are
Strider
done,
tomorrow on Sunday.
and there we go. And keep in mind too, once your scores are done, make sure you let Ahmad know, so that way we can input the score into the bracket, and then we can move on and proceed with the next round. But like I said, like Fed said, have fun, enjoy it, and we will see you on the course, boys. Have a good night.